the undercard of Noche UFC. Dominic, let's start with that co-main event. Weird fight.
In a way, I would say, yeah, definitely a little bit different than what I anticipated, I think.
Underwhelming? I think that's the word that comes to mind.
Yeah, I think it wasn't
Not
as
worthy of
action-packed.
booze. Not worthy
No,
of
that was
booze.
bullshit. Yeah, I know.
But Jack Della, Maddalena gets the split decision win over Kevin Holland. This was a weird one. I don't really know what we got here. Truthfully, Dominic, kind of felt like hard sparring. Like,
yeah,
I did not.
It was more technical than I thought it was going to be.
I guess it was technical, but like most of Kevin Holland's punches were just kind of hitting the arms of Jack. Like
Jack's defense was,
Kevin's defense. Like, they both guys defensively looked good. This did not inspire a lot of confidence in me, though, that Jack Della Maddalena is going to need to be fraud checked here soon, from a betting perspective.
Okay.
Like, I do not look at this fight, this performance, and I go, Jackie Moon to the moon. I do not see that.
Yeah.
Do you see that? Because you're the big Jack fan. What are you thinking?
No, it's not like one of those stonks, or on the rise kind of performances. But I did enjoy the fight. I think there was a lot of output. It was good. Like, this isn't a version of Kevin Holland we're used to seeing. So in a way, he kind of flipped the narrative a little. He was patient, more technical, at least for his side of things, more defensively sound, didn't get too wild and crazy. So to that point, it does lead to an underwhelming type fight, because this was like a banger, if you will, on paper. But I don't have like negative takeaways. I think it's fair to have the kind of idea that Jack, while this is a big win, biggest of your career, split decision, you didn't really pull away, have big moments to really solidify you're ready for the next step. He will now inevitably get a next step. Who against, we can talk about later. I mentioned it to like the run back, the original booking with Sean Brady on Twitter with somebody. It would present a grappling issue, which I don't think he's had to face much. Even Hafez was the most he had to face, and it didn't go too well for him. So yeah, I still am high on Jack, but I think it's good to see now, I guess in a way good, depending on how you view it, that he isn't just going to run through elite level fighters, or even a little bit less than elite level fighters in Kevin Holland. He's going to have to do something in his game, in his skill sets, game planning strategies to take that next step. Because if he stays where he is right now, he cannot further advance. He cannot take that step. He cannot get to the moon, as Noah alluded to. That's kind of where I was feeling post-fight here.
Yeah, I feel like if Jack has some adjustments he needs to make, obviously. He needs to still kind of develop the mental game. But if he were just to stay this fighter,
yes,
he's not top 10 in my opinion.
Yes.
I think there is a version of Jack as he continues to, evolve and get older, get more experience. He can be that top 10 fighter. But the problem is, Dominic, he may be looking at a top 10 matchup next, and that's why my confidence in him moving forward is not high.
Now, a little bit more reserved on him.
Now, right? I bet Kevin Holland here, and that obviously Jack came out and, got a win. I don't look at this fight the same way as you, I guess. I didn't like this fight. I didn't like it at all. It's not one of the worst fights I've ever seen. Like, it was fine while watching it. It was just a very frustrating fight to watch, because I think the reason why maybe I'm being so pessimistic on Jack here is because I think Kevin Holland could not have gave a shit here. He just looked like he did not give a shit. He literally was in there just kind of like, he's so good that even when he's not really trying, he can still pull off some good things and whatnot. But Dominic, he never used his distance. He just went through the motions, basically. There was nothing here. Like, he could have, I'm going to say something here. I think Kevin Holland could have easily won this fight. And instead, he just played, sparring match with Jack.
Played Jack's game in a way,
Well, yeah, I mean, Jack was not doing anything that crazy here. Like, Jack, He had his defense on point, but the size and reach was a huge problem for
Oh yeah,
Jack.
I think it was
And I
8
think
inches.
Jack was aware of the fact that Kevin does have big power. He can snipe those shots in. So I thought he was a little hesitant to maybe trying to get inside, which he did do pretty successfully. But again, I felt like Kevin Holland here was just a big disappointment for me. Just a huge disappointment.
And that leads more to that narrative around Kevin, right? Like,
well, that's
we
why,
all
like,
know,
when you were talking about like him being more technical and stuff, I thought this was one of the least technical Kevin Hollands
just
I've
because
seen.
of his lack of like.
Well, it's just there was no there was no flow to his performance here. Like he basically was doing what he like. Okay, what we saw here was the base version of Kevin Holland. Like he's got some, he's got some good little strikes, and
Sure.
he can throw some interesting kicks. Some teep kicks, stuff like that. He's got good speed in his hands, but there's more to Kevin Holland than that now. It never went beyond that. There was no creativity in the performance. There was no
I thought he could have used grappling.
mixing.
There
was no mixing of levels. I mean, I took that bet for this fight to end it via submission, and it never even sniffed the ground.
Yeah.
Not that matters, but I'm just saying it plays into the fact that this guy is a much improved grappler. Defensively, still a question mark, but that's
didn't have to worry about that though.
That's not the battle here, right?
Yeah.
I look at this and I just look. Kevin Holland is who he is. He's one of my favorite fighters. That's why maybe I'm being like this, but
sure.
he's must see TV. He's made his thoughts pretty clear that he doesn't really care about the whole belts and working his way up the ladder. And you know what? That's fine. Like there's guys who can have great long careers. Literally, Dominic, he's the second. It took him the second shortest amount of time to get to 20 UFC fights. He missed it by like 14 days, 2 weeks against from Cowboy Cerrone. So
yeah.
So obviously you see the blueprint there. Just get those paydays, keep building your brand, your profile, and he'll be fine. But when I see this, I was like, man, this just looked like a guy who really wasn't trying to win.
Do you think? Let's talk about that narrative that we've talked about with Kevin and a lot of these fights we've covered. With the potentials there, it's the mental side. Can he flip that switch and really, all right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give this a go. Are we nailing that in the bud? I don't know what the term is, but are we?
Are you asking me if he's ever going to be a champion?
Not even that, but like any sort of surge into even top 10, top 7 area.
Well, no, you can never write him off completely because he's so good. So, especially in this division at welterweight, he's got such an athletic advantage over so much of his competition. He's going to have that size and reach. If he sticks at welterweight, you can never count him out. If he goes up to middleweight, I think you can.
He needs to stay at 170 for sure.
But if he sticks at 170, you can never count him out, but you can never put your trust in him.
Yeah,
I don't think you can ever fully trust him to string together those kind of wins that it would take. What
version's going to show up?
He due to his name and the usual excitement you get out of Kevin Holland, the way he kind of builds himself in a fight. He's a good talker. Like he's got something about him. He's got an aura about him a little bit that he's building.
Yeah.
He's going to find himself in big fights, even when he takes a loss like this, even if he loses his next fight, he's going to be in big, high-profile fights from here on out. So, of course, you can never quite write him off, but I just think that there's more there, and that's okay. Like, I'm okay with it if he doesn't really care about that. I mean, if he doesn't care, why should I?
Yeah.
It's just frustrating to watch this because this is not – what I saw here was not even like so much as about like, oh, he didn't show grappling. He just wanted to get to a stand and bang with Jack, fought against how he should. I could live with that because we've seen him do that before and I'd be consistent with who he is. But here it just felt like he really just showed up to have the sparring match and that was it. There was just nothing behind the base of his game here.
You talked about the fraud check potential of Jack Della. Is there any name in mind for you that you would like to see, whether that be not even winnable, but like something that you think could really, really challenge Jack, and we're going to find out how good you are?
pretty much anybody in front of him, probably. I mean, I don't know who specific. I think someone commented on the Twitter and said, Sean Brady, right?
I would like to see that since it was already booked.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
great kind of yin and yang
Sure.
style clash there.
Yeah.
The striking of Jack, the wrestling of Brady. Like, I think there's some real things to be learned from that kind of
Mm-hmm.
performance. And Sean Brady not out of the woods either, in terms of fraud checked is a mean word. Like, I don't want to call Jack a fraud. I just mean fraud checked in the sense of like fraud checked. I'm using in betting terminology. That's something you use with when the hype, because that's what I was fully calling a potential him versus Kevin Holland matchup. But of course, the Basil Hafez came in and kind of
Mm-hmm.
shook that up for me. But I was expecting this line to be in like the plus 200s and be like
Yeah.
fraud checked opportunity, because these fighters run into that. Their hype gets too high, the value on them gets too steep that they cannot possibly cover when you actually watch what they offer.
Mm-hmm.
I think him versus Brady is not a clear that fight is one of the more winnable fights, I'll say, for Jack in the top 10.
Yeah, I think that would be an interesting. I'd wonder what the line would even open as he might approach that.
Dude, I feel like
line.
You think so against Brady?
I think people may see Brady and be like, "Oh, dude, well, you got knocked out by Bilal.
Yeah,
what are you going to do against
Brady's
Jack?"
been booked since then. I wonder what his lines. He just hasn't fought.
I know. I don't know what the line was originally when they.
I feel like I've looked. He's had to have gotten pretty close to a fight to where I could have seen some lines. I don't remember, but I don't know if he. I don't. If they put. Man, if they really make Brady that big of an underdog, I have to take him. I have to. I expect this to be like a pick 'em.
It could be. It could be. Maybe this performance would kind of bring that back down. You know.
Yeah, Dominic. As far as we'll talk about the next fight because I think we might have wildly different opinions on this one too. I promise, and I'm looking Dominic straight in his eyes. I promise that my opinions here are not all influenced by the bad luck I had on the betting side. So even though I'm trying to prepare people because I'm probably going to be a little more reserved or negative, even dare I say, on this next fight compared to probably what you're going to be and what the majority of people are going to say. So let's talk about Raul Rosas Jr., 18 years old, 54-second knockout.
Yeah.
Over Terrence Mitchell. This was wild.
There's not much to say here.
I mean, let me ask you: was this what you needed to see to kind of get you back on Raul Rosas Jr.? Was it kind of like, okay, the last fight he looked kind of tough. Here he was able to get it done with the hands.
Yeah, I mean, no. He does this against anybody that's competent. He's getting slept probably. This was just him trying to.
Shit. Okay, we are on the same page.
Oh yeah, this was cool that he got back on track. It's awesome. 18 years old, 54-second finish. That's badass. But it's Terrence Mitchell, guys. I mean, he's like an Alaskan fighting championship guy. Like anything. No, I'm not being. Anything he's had close to UFC competition, he's been finished.
Has he fought in Alaska fighting championships?
Oh, he's like a longtime veteran of
Alaska. Oh wait,
him
really?
and Jared Cannonier are like two of the biggest names.
Sorry, I thought you were saying he's like an Alaskan fighting champion.
Oh no, he literally is an Alaskan.
Okay. I didn't know his background, but okay.
Yeah. But I mean, 33 years old. Every time he's been close to UFC competition, he's been finished. Cameron Simon finished him this year. Raul Kai finished him like 7 years ago in the Ultimate Fighter. This fight was built for Raul to do this. Well, not maybe the way he did it. He fucking ran out of the gates like a horse and just bombarded him with strikes and got a TKO finish. But 18 years old, it's good he got a win back. He's a fun story to follow and track what he can really do. But he's got a long way to go. But good for him. He does have 5 years to still meet that goal of being the youngest champion ever. So 5 years in the fight game is a lot of time. It was cool, right? But there's no way I can come out of this with big takeaways.
Okay.
If you come out of this fight with big takeaways, I think you're crazy, to be honest.
Okay. I'm glad that I thought you were going to be much more, not necessarily like, I wasn't thinking big takeaway. I don't want to paint you like, I don't want to pretend like I'm like, oh, Dominic.
Raul champion 2024.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking that. But I was thinking you were going to be a little bit more. I saw a lot of opinions that were talking him up after this win, like what a big win, the violence that this
Mhm.
18-year-old shows, which, to be fair, it was a violent finish.
Oh,
And
it's fun. Yes.
it was fun to watch. This is just I don't want to redo the same conversations that we've had in the past, even though someone watching this one might not have watched that one. But basically, my argument, like, on one hand, I want to be like, okay, I need to remember Raul Rosas Jr. is 18 years old. So, like,
Yeah.
yes, huge things to work on. He will never be able to do this to anybody else in the division, probably. He'll probably never be able to win a fight with his hands against anybody else in the division. But I want to, like, not go that hard because he's
Right.
18.
It's hard to
But
project.
at the end of the day, he's in the UFC. Like,
Yeah.
there's got to be held to, like, a standard here. And that's why
Right.
this whole thing of them signing a kid this young, in hindsight, just seems like it's probably not the right move. With that being said, though, you cannot look at this performance. You can't. I mean, just looking at this, it was very fun. It was very quick. I think Terrence Mitchell has like 9 submission wins and has never been submitted. So it seems like it was the right call to just kind of just
Bang.
fucking go for it. But Dominic, from there, I want to give you the chance to just kind of point out one sort of standout from the rest of this undercard.
Oh man, there's 2. Where do I go? Oh,
See, this is the thing, Dominic.
the
You know, there's
ladies
2 of
like
us.
delivered
You know,
for
there's
me
2
on this
of us,
card.
right? There's 2 of
Yeah,
us here.
yeah.
So
So it's like you have to
I
put the
don't
trust
need
in
you.
the like. Is he
Yeah.
gonna say the other thing if I don't? Say
Yeah.
it?
And
Okay,
Dominic,
I'm gonna
Dominic, we know what's gonna happen here. You're gonna give one, I'll give one, and then
I'm gonna go
we'll
again.
give a shout out
Yeah.
to another one. Like
I'm
just pick one.
all right. I'm gonna stick back to flyweight because flyweights are the shit in 2023. Tracy Cortez is back, 16 months
Oh,
removed from her
okay.
last fight. Kind of
Oh.
a good fight. Well, go ahead. What?
Oh, sorry, I've cut you off. I didn't.
Oh
mean
no.
to.
Okay.
I just thought that you might be going a different direction. I just cut you off again. What the fuck am I doing? Just talk. Talk.
Tracy Cortez, best we've ever seen her look? Question mark. I mean,
Yes,
striking, kind of clean. Some nice combinations, some power, some Christmas.
Happy Christmas. It's Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Chrysler.
Crispness to her strikes. I enjoyed this fight. It was close. I did live bet Jasmine at the end of round 2. She was like plus 150. I thought she had won the second round. I thought it should have been a pick'em. She was plus 150. I took a stab. She lost. That's okay. Tracy looked very good to come back from this long of a layoff. All the like personal stuff that she's went through. Obviously, a pretty not so public, but in a way still public breakup with Brian Ortega, and she's had just so much shit going on in her life with like her family and lost loved ones.
Well,
Her story really is amazing.
Pass away 2 days ago.
Oh, that was Henry Cejudo's sister. But they were part of like the kind of training camp together.
Okay.
But she's lost her brother in the past, and I believe there could be even another loss that she's went through. But she is now, what is it, 5-0 in the UFC, 1 on the Contender Series. Number 14 looked like a ranked flyweight last night, and I'm kind of very much back with Tracy. Her fight with Gatto, I did bet Gatto going in because I just had really liked the potential there from her. And it was kind of just a whatever fight. She did what she had to do to win. This one, she was coming for blood. She was coming to prove a point that I'm back. And that's what she did for me here. Flyweight division on top, baby. Flyweights are so much fun right now. Tracy looked like that surging, promising prospect again that there are so many of right now at 125 pounds.
So, yeah, I was definitely dealing with a lot. You could see the emotion pouring off of her.
Oh, yeah.
When it was all said and done. I do think as good as she looked, so she did look really good. This was totally like, this felt like a fight like the Matador and the Bull a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Tracy just looked like the cleaner. She was a cleaner striker, had better hand speed, better movement. Jasmine, though, is such a dog.
She's a
she,
dog, man.
She wouldn't go away. And
then
it seemed like at points you could potentially see Jasmine get close to maybe getting kind of a fury off and potentially turning the tides of that fight late. When it was all said and done, though, I thought this fight was very close. Like, I think these scorecards might paint a different picture than what the actual fight was. Like Tracy, it's one of those weird fights where Tracy looked really good. Jasmine showed a lot of heart,
Mhm.
And you would think by those being the descriptions of their performances that Tracy just ran away with it, but it
Right.
really wasn't. Like I didn't know who won this fight when it was over,
Mhm. Mhm.
and that seemed to be but I think that seemed to be the majority opinion. And yet you had two 30-27s on here, so they definitely
Yeah.
valued the
Yeah.
crispness, the cleanliness of the
Mhm.
striking more than the, trying to make it dirty,
Right.
didn't really, it seemed like octagon control and stuff didn't really play a factor in any scorecards here tonight because
Yeah, because Jasmine was like marching down.
yeah, so it seemed like here that didn't, I mean, not that it's supposed to play much of a factor, but
Yeah.
the eye test, right?
Right. Right.
But yeah, she looked really good. To be honest, Dominic, like it was definitely a nice reminder of like Tracy
Yeah.
Cortez is here to
Yeah.
stay. She's not going away.
Right.
I was there was a bit of a thought in the back of my mind that maybe she was just never really going to be what people were projecting her to be. But after
Mhm.
this, I'm definitely excited to see her against some of those other fresh faces at women's flyweight.
100%. Yes.
So now Dominic did not take either of the two that I was thinking he might,
Perfect.
which is making me
Now you
wonder
have to
which way.
choose.
I got to go Loopy.
Thank you.
Godinez.
Yes, Noah.
I
Yeah.
have to because when you talk about the biggest winner of the night, it's Loopy Godinez. Like
Ooh.
I understand she was on the prelims, right? So like a lot happened after this. It was a long night.
It was.
So kind of when you got to the end and the scorecards got read off and there was a lot of confusion, maybe her performance got a little forgotten about, just over the course of the night. But make no mistake about it. In terms of raising their stock, nobody did more for their stock this night than Loopy Godinez.
Fuck yeah, Noah. Yes, Noah.
What a fucking performance.
She's such a
this was.
beast, man.
I'll be honest. I'll be completely transparent with you. When I saw you put that bet in for her by finish, I went, this has got to be the worst bet I've ever seen. You're only getting her by finish at plus 130, and she's got nothing but decisions in the UFC. I said, this is dumb bet. I said, how come? I said, the man never wants to, the man always does minus money, and then he goes plus money, and he puts that in. And then I watched it, and I was like, damn, Dom was spitting. He was spitting on that one. No, she looked fantastic here, like everywhere. She fucking mauled Elise Reed. And you know what? Elise Reed showed a lot of toughness.
Dude,
To fight through that arm bar. What is up with the dexterity of these arms? Arms are not supposed to bend like that. Tony Ferguson, Elise Reed, what the fuck's going on? How do you do that? Do you do stretches? Are there stretches you do to make your arms do that?
Yeah.
Like, do you just like hold your arm out like that? Like, I don't understand it. The anatomy of it all does not allow for it.
Yeah.
We did not take anatomy in high school, but if we had, an elbow could not go that way.
No. Elise's Reed's arm would have been listed as an injury in our anatomy book.
But it did. It did go that way. I bet her arm was fucking compromised after that.
Yeah.
But, this was just, I mean, the takedowns were so fucking violent.
Dude. Yeah.
She was fucking piecing her up on the feet.
Powerful
Dude,
on the feet.
Fucking loved everything I saw
Let's
here.
go, Noah.
And you know what? I had sort of written off Loopy. I said, she's a fan-friendly fighter, but she doesn't, the IQ isn't there.
She had made wrong decisions,
Yeah, she had not fought to her strengths. I'm back on the Loopy hype train. I understand it's Elise Reed, like there is levels to this, and we'll see. But you got to give Loopy like a big step up from this.
Yeah,
give her to step up.
Yeah,
see how she does that time. Like if she shows those same holes again, I'm off. I'm jumping off the train, Dominic, and I'm never coming back. But this was amazing.
It was like the performance where she just dominated Ariane Carnelosi, like 30-25 across the board in that fight. That's what this felt like. But now, she had that fight, that step up, if you will, with Angela Hill. Didn't fight the way she should have. Still went the distance. It was a good fight, but lost the decision. Has tallied off 3 straight, beat Cynthia Calvillo, which, right now it's not a big win, but at the time, at least it was a big win for her.
Passing of the torch, maybe?
Passing of the torch in a way, yeah. She's so, when she's on, dude, she's dangerous. There's not a lot of strawweights right now that I feel like have all of these skills that she can kind of fall back on and do. 30 years old, in her prime, top 15. Give it to me, Loopy, next. She'll probably fucking fight in 2 weeks, knowing her, and then she'll lose and screw it all up again. Loopy, get at least 6 weeks for a semi-training camp, and we're good.
What was your honorable mention?
Loopy was definitely the other one that I was thinking for sure.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just mention Roman Kopylov real quick.
Dude, he's kind of fucking nasty, dog.
He is nasty.
He's nasty.
And that takedown defense was looking pretty crispy, if I say so myself. Because that was the worry, right? I remember he was on the receiving end of Albert Durayev's debut, and I was high on Durayev. And Durayev ultimately needed to use his wrestling to get that win, even though for some reason the guy always wants to strike with his opponents, and he kind of was doing that with Roman. But that Roman Kopylov, I mean, that was November of 2021.
Yep.
We're 2.5 years later, almost. Yeah. We're almost 2 years later.
Yeah.
This guy looks like a completely different fighter.
Oh, yeah. Deadly.
I mean, to not overexert yourself in the striking, but to still make look to have every shot look like a fucking missile.
Yeah,
just coming out. Like, he never looks like he's putting everything into it.
No.
He's just a fast and powerful guy.
He's so calm and like composed, and then bam, in and out, boom, kick to the body, kick to the fucking head. 4 in a row since that loss. They're all by knockout.
Now I'm now I'm really paying attention to Roman Kopylov. Like, I liked him in this spot. Josh Fremd, tough guy, but not someone who I think is fighting at like a Kopylov level. Like, I just don't think at middleweight he's a top level fighter.
Yeah.
And Fremd tried to hang in there, man, but God, the body kicks, mixing it up to the head kicks. I mean, everything. It was such a fun striking performance. Russia, pay attention to this guy. I know you guys got a lot of grappling, a lot of wrestling over there.
Yeah. Over
in Dagestan and Russia and whatnot. Pay attention to this guy, because now you got yourself some striking.
Well, I mean, I kind of feel much of the same, like how you just said for Loopy, like big step up. Come on now. We've seen 4 straight very decisive finishes for Roman. It's at middleweight. It ain't like it's a very deep weight class. Throw him in with like
I was
or something.
I was fine with him getting this matchup, because I'm like, okay, the 3 in a row, like maybe at that point you do give him the step up, but I was like, let's see one more.
Yeah.
See one more. And I thought Fremd was it was very much played into his hand in terms of like a fight he would win. But I wanted to see how he was going to win, because Fremd can be a hard guy to. The only loss he'd taken via finish was Trayshawn Gore putting that nasty
durable guy
guillotine on him. And I thought, can he do it on the feet? Because Fremd had showed a lot of durability in the past. Dude.
Yeah.
Passed with flying colors.
Yes, 100%.
Anything you want to touch on before we move on?
I think those are the big hitters. Big time stuff from the prelims, honestly. Like big performances.
No, for sure. Blazing.